Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the late night show with your host here, Justin Meredith. Our next guest on the show has been doing a lot of research in the field of student athletes and their academic success at the college level. Please welcome to my show, Dr. Emily Ewen. Clearly, she's been spending a lot of time and effort on this research. She actually had to be hospitalized and have surgery because of how much of a toll it's taken on her body here. But doctor, let's get straight to the conversation here. In terms of athletes and academics at the college level, it seems that a lot of people think that student athletes at the college level just put the athletics first, and the academics is kind of on the back burner.
Actually, that's a really big misconception that a lot of people think. They think that college athletes have like really low GPA and like bad grades. And actually, like from my research, that is what happens. And like they take easier classes, and a lot of people say that they put sports before academics. But I don't know if that's exactly true from my research.
And then the other counterpoint to that is that a lot of people see athletics as a motivating factor for students to do better and perform better in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. I also found in my research that physical activity promotes memory and learning, and participating in sports, especially at the college level, like increases your motivation and self-confidence, which like really helps with aspects in the classroom too.
So it should almost be a shoo-in that they do great then. I didn't want to seem like an idiot here on my own show, folks. So I went and did a little research of my own. I went up, took a road trip up to the University of Michigan and talked to one of their former presidents up there, and he said that every year they host an academic banquet for the student athletes that tend to go above and beyond in the classroom and tend to outperform their peers a lot of the times. And he said two groups that are almost never there, almost never represented. If they are, it's just one or two athletes, is basketball and football players. What do you have to say about that?
I've done a lot of research on that, and the reason that those sports do that is because they have a lot of people looking at them, so they have a lot more like opportunity and possibility for post-collegiate, like professional recruitment. So those athletes actually do tend to put athletics before their academics.
So it's almost like they're on a pedestal. They're kind of worshipped for their athletic ability, and sports are all that matters. The grades don't really mean much to them.
Yes.
Well, another point, this one's kind of further fetched. A little research done by two professors in the Ivy League had another study that they did that kind of had two far-fetched theories that were a little differing. One is that student athletes tend to be held to a higher standard by their teachers and peers, and people expect them to outperform their peers in the classroom, so teachers are a lot harder on them. And the other theory is that professors have this stigma against student athletes that they don't really care about the professor's class, so because of that they have an unconscious bias whenever it comes to grading their papers. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
That's another big misconception, and that's actually, that data has been like found to be inconclusive because there's really like no correlation between the athletic part and like the academic part, and a lot of the data is just like random and a coincidence.
But what about something as serious as socioeconomic status? There's a lot of research that shows student athletes that come from higher socioeconomic status families tend to outperform student athletes that come from lower socioeconomic status families.
That data is actually inconclusive too, because they found that African American males from lower socioeconomic status actually outperformed their peers of the same low socioeconomic status. So this data is inconclusive too.
Just not Derrick Rose, right?
Yeah.
So like what I'm hearing through this conversation, I feel like we haven't really gotten anywhere. I feel like we haven't really learned a whole lot.
No, actually all the data that I found, there's some like research that points to some things, but in the end, all of it's inconclusive, and they found that there's actually like no clear correlation between participating in athletics and like low grades and GPA.
Well, Doctor, I want to thank you one final time for being on the show. When we come back from commercial, folks, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in studio talking about his 5th jungle film of the year. We'll be back after this short commercial break. See you, folks.